In this video, we'll be discussing about the types of variables. Understanding the types of variable is very important in statistical modeling and machine learning. So whenever you are building up a statistical model and you are trying to predict a particular variable, like if customer would make a default or not, or what is going to be the sales of an organization in the next few months, wherein you are trying to predict the sales, which is in numbers, and the default, the other case that we discussed, is either default or non-default. It is a binary. So the variable attributes are very different from each other. It's very important to understand the different variable attributes. Variables can be defined into quantitative and qualitative variables. Quantitative variables are also called numerical variables, and qualitative variables are also called categorical or classification variables. Let's talk about the quantitative variables, which is on the left side. Quantitative variables are those variables which can be quantified in numbers. For example, income of a customer in a currency, let's say dollars. Number of credit cards a customer hold. Weight of a patient, height of a patient. Population of a country. So all of these can be quantified in numbers. These are called quantitative variables. On the contrary, the examples of qualitative variables would be those variables which cannot be quantified in numbers. So for example, gender. Gender can either be male or female. You cannot quantify gender in numbers. Color. Color can be red, green, blue, violet, indigo. You cannot quantify that in numbers. So that's why we call it as qualitative variables. So simply, quantitative variables are those variables which can be quantified in numbers, and qualitative variables are those variables which cannot be quantified in numbers. Now, the numerical or quantitative variable can further be classified into continuous or discrete variables. We'll talk about the continuous variable first. Continuous variables are those variables which would have infinite possible values in them. For example, income of a customer. So if there's a telecom company which maintains data for each customer about his income, income can be $500 minimum and it can be $10,000 maximum per month. And there can be infinite possible values between that. So the income can be $500 and 1 cent, $500 and 2 cents, $500 at 3 cents, $1,000 and 10 cents, $1,120, and so on. So there can be infinite possible values between the two data points. So the numerical variables or the quantitative variables, which would have infinite possible values, are called continuous variables. The examples of continuous variables are given on the bottom, which is sales in dollars, per capita income. So in a country, in case you are finding out the per capita income, weight of a patient. Weight of a patient can be in decimals as well. Now let's talk about the discrete variable. Discrete variable are those variables which would have limited number of values inside them. They would also be numerical because they are a part of numerical variables, but discrete variables are those type of quantitative or numerical variables which would have limited number of values in them. For example, you have a variable for a customer, and what you are maintaining the data is how many number of children are there in the customer's family. So if you have a variable which is number of children is a discrete variable because it cannot be in decimals, right? And it would be a limited number of value. Either the number of children in a family would be 0, or it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maximum up to 6. And number of children cannot be more than 6. Let's say that's how we have our customer database, and we haven't had any customer which has 6 number of children. Now this is a discrete variable because discrete variable cannot be in decimals. You cannot say that this family has 3.1 number of children in a family, right? So that's not possible. That cannot be in decimals. Another example is customer brand score between 1 to 10. So you would have heard the net promoter score nowadays, NPS survey, which is a lot of companies roll out for their customers. And they ask their customers, how likely would you recommend our brand to your friend or family or colleague from a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is lower and 10 is highest. So in case there's a broadband company which has rolled out a survey to its existing customers, and the broadband company has asked the existing customers, are you happy with our services? And if I give you a scale of 1 to 10, how likely you are to recommend our brand to your friend, family, or colleague. So you can rate us on the scale of 1 to 10, 1 being lowest, 10 being highest. So that kind of data would be another example of discrete variable, because you cannot give a score which is 1.1 or 1.2. You have to either give 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 10, or maybe from 1 to 10. Now we will talk about the qualitative or the categorical variables, which are also called classification variables. So these terms are used interchangeably. Qualitative variables, we gave an example that gender is a qualitative variable, color, blood group is a qualitative variable. Now qualitative variables can also be classified into two subcategories. One is nominal and another one is ordinal. So nominal variables are those kind of categorical variables which cannot be ordered. For example, look at the examples on the bottom of the slide. For example, gender. Gender of a person or a customer cannot be ordered. You cannot say gender male is greater than female or female is greater than male. Similarly, colors, violet, indigo, blue, red, green. You cannot give them an order. You cannot say red is greater than blue or blue is greater than green. You cannot give them any order. Similarly, blood group, A positive, B negative, AB negative. You cannot order them. Now, ordinal variables can be ordered. These are those kind of qualitative variables which can be ordered. The examples are income level, categorized as high, medium, and low. For example, you have a customer database in which you have classified the income of a customer as high, medium, and low. You don't have the income in dollars, but you have the income as high, medium, and low. That's the flag that you have. So this becomes a categorical variable. And you can order this. You can say high is greater than medium and medium is greater than low. So we can put this in some order. Now another example is winning position. So in case you have a marathon race and you have the winning position as 1, 2, and 3. So you can say that the first position is the winner, and then you have the first runner-up, and then you have the second runner-up. So this is an example of ordinal variable. You can order that. The one who is first, he's at the top position. The one who is first runner-up is just below the top position, and one who is the second runner-up is below the first runner-up. So you can put that into some order. Similarly, socioeconomic status. For example, if you have a data which talks about the socioeconomic status of a student. So if the socioeconomic status is defined in scale 1, 2, 3, so the scale 1 represents the high socioeconomic status, scale 2 represents the medium socioeconomic status or the affluence level, and scale 3 represents the low socioeconomic status. So you can also put that into some order. So that's the reason why it is ordinal variable.